Hello, I'm here with Kenneth today, and he's been targeted since 2016. And he came and we even got a little slide, and he's going to explain what's on the slide when I share the screen. Um, but I'm going to be asking him some questions about his targeting. Kenneth, I'm glad you came on here. I feel like everybody that's brave enough to speak out about this is good person for the community because people that are not targeted are watching and are taking this in, and I've even had people tell me that they've started to believe this stuff. So you said you've been targeted since 2016. How did you know, how did you figure out what was going on, and how did you figure out what a targeted individual was?
Well, from the time I got hit, David, I got hit in the head while sleeping, and I woke, and
Hitting the
my
head with direct energy weapons?
right, my whole
Yeah.
head was inflamed, and it stayed that way for some time. And finally, I contacted a doctor to go in and have what do they call an EKG done or whatever, and had that there done. And then I land up next day or whatever, getting hit again, this time in the chest. And when it hit me in the chest,
Oh, okay, go on. I'm sorry. I got what they do is they hack my girlfriend's phone. And so when she's at work, I just got a call from her and I just answered and she didn't say nothing. So what they call me from her phone at work, and
yeah,
it's really not her. Her phone's hacked. I should have known better than to answer it, but it was to cut you off. That's why they done it. I'm sorry. So you were talking about your head.
yes, I end up going and having an EKG done for that. And they didn't find anything uh, wrong or nothing. And then I think it was the next day, I got hit in the chest. Okay. And it made my chest swell up like a beach ball. Is what it felt like. And I thought I was gone then. I thought it was all over, you know. But fortunately for me, it wasn't. And this type of directed energy that they were hitting me with, I compare it to the eye laser they use when you're having floaters taken out of your eye. Um, it releases a small amount of radiation into the eye and gets rid of the clouding in your eye. This particular weapon, which is basically functions the same way, but way much more powerful. Once the laser hits you, it releases that radiation and it will go into your chest or your skull, okay, just like air going into a balloon, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah. So you knew that. So immediately, what did you do? Research it and find out that it was.
Yes, I got online. I started doing a bunch of researching and run into other people. And of course, all the time I'm doing this researching, I'm getting hit. And uh, mostly at nighttime. At nighttime is what they target me. Uh, I think they got me in what's called that sleep deprivation program, where they try to
Yeah.
deprive you from any sleep. And
Yeah, because the weapons work better. The less sleep you have, the more effective the mind control is.
right, and the stalkers. Now here's where the stalker, like the one across the street. Okay, when they know I'm not getting any sleep, that's when that guy's going to try and provoke me. Okay, they want to catch you off guard, um, get you to say something or catch you in an act of aggression or violence or something like that there. And they have here the close knit here, right across the street and right next door to me. Uh, they'll have it set up to where one person's got a camera going and the stalker across the street will have a camera going. And their hopes is to get me out there in an aggressive manner and then start recording, okay? Leaving out the provocation. You follow me?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a tactic they use here. Uh,
And
the
then
other
I'll go ahead.
the other thing that reminded me of when I was just talking, I think I was talking to you about COINTELPRO command centers and that there.
Yeah.
One of the things I discovered too with that particular home was their mailbox. Okay. I had called that mailbox number in, and there's no such address that these people were operating out of. No
Yeah.
such address. Okay.
Wow.
And then I kind of sweet talked the mail lady, and she told me that they get all kinds of mail from different law enforcement agencies there. And the stalkers here also guard one another's mailboxes, and I can assume they're doing that because that type of mail is coming to them.
Right. Didn't you say that you were talking to one of your stalkers one day? You had his dog was loose and he was perping you with his dog, and you had his dog, and then you asked him why he was targeting you, and he said, I get why they're targeting you, and he said, I don't know, I just do what I'm told, but I guess it's because you're on disability.
Right, right. Excuse me.
And then you asked about the women and kids, and then what did he say?
Doesn't matter to him. Doesn't matter. That was his words, and that kind of shook me to even hear.
So he didn't even hide it. He told you.
Right up front.
Yeah.
No problem. He gave the admission to targeting me. He gave the admission to he would target women and children. Made no difference to him, none whatsoever. But
Wow. And
that
where's this dude at? Does he live in the neighborhood?
he lives right, not right straight across from me, but right across the street from me, the gray house. I've got videos of
Is that
directed
the
in.
dude that drives the blue truck that you got videos of?
Nope, that's the guy next. No, it's
Oh,
not
okay.
him. It's the guy next door to him. They're
Okay.
all they're all buddies. Okay. Uh, yeah, I've recorded numerous directed energy weapons being fired from that home and right from the windows of. Okay, and I also have a recording to where they had a weapon at the side of their house. I recorded them setting it up, and I recorded it firing, and I also recorded it being intercepted, meaning they fired and somebody else fired and intercepted it.
Wow. Uh, so you've been experiencing dude from the start. So when you started getting hit and stuff, uh, and your brain swelled up and all that, and then your chest was swelling up. Did they start? Were they stalking you hard also?
Um, I wasn't completely up on the gang stalking. It took me a while to catch on to that. This was all new to me in the
Right.
beginning. Here's a situation that happened. And I don't know why I'm laughing about it, but I guess it's just one sense it's kind of funny. I was at the Walmart store, and I was outside and I was smoking a cigarette. I know, shame on me. I'm off them now. But anyways, I was smoking a cigarette outside, and this young guy comes up beside me and he says, "You want to know something?" And I said, "What?" And he says, "I like butter on my peanut butter sandwiches too." And he walks off. And I'm like, "What?" And then I'm totally baffled by that statement. And I'm driving home and I'm going, what that guy just did was he let me know that they are watching me inside my home because, and this is something I never talk about, I put butter on my peanut butter sandwiches.
Wow. Yeah. So he was letting you know, hey, we're watching you.
Right, right, exactly.
Wow.
And they want you to know. At least that's the impression I'm getting. They
Yeah.
want you to know that they're watching you. I had another incident there at the Walmart store too. This time my daughter was with me, and some guy walks past me, looks up at me, and he says, "Fuck you." And I'm like, "What the hell?" I turned around to go after him, and my daughter grabbed me by the arm, and I could, I'm blown away. I can't understand why this shit is happening. And I've also received what I call cultural attacks um, on my faith at a Walmart store from the greeter there. As I was leaving, he kind of stops me and tells me about his love for Satan and how he can't wait to go to hell. You know, of course, that kind of talk just blows you away. Yeah, I
Yeah.
call a cultural attack. Um, something they would use on people that have a strong faith in God, or knowing church members or something like that. But yeah, those kinds of attacks. Well, that one there wasn't that long ago. That was probably last year.
Right. Do you experience V2K?
No, I haven't. They just pretty much they want me sleep deprived. They want me dead. They have a weapon underneath the home that fires up through the floors, and it seems to work off the brain frequency.
Right.
Okay, right as I'm about to fall asleep, it will fire. And information I got on that was on the it was Discovery Channel one time. They talked about this weapon the military has that works off brain frequency, and I got to thinking that's got to be what the hell it is. Um, and it fires pretty damn hard.
Yeah.
I've
Every
had
time I close my eyes, I get hit. So yeah, I believe this.
Yeah, it picks up on that frequency, and I haven't been able. It's got to be a low frequency is what I'm thinking. How the impact is so powerful, I don't know. But I do have meters where I check around the house, to try and pick up on what frequencies are coming from where. And then I got my cameras, and I can't figure out how this weapon that's underneath my home is staying charged up, staying activated.
Right. So you do you not think it's satellites? You think it's local?
It's local.
Yeah.
It's
Some
local.
people's are local and some people's ain't. So that's why I was asking.
I frankly speaking, I think satellites they do play a role, but I think it's a small role. I don't think it's that big of a role at all. Like if you
Right.
weren't, pardon?
I said right.
Okay.
So
With
you got this heart machine with Gwen tires and all this. The grid is set. The 5G, the Gwen tires. They're strategically placed, and the HARP system hugs the ground with scalar technology too.
I don't know if I understood all that. It could be a scalar technology. I don't know. I'm no expert on that there. Uh, the big thing I
Because you're
do.
saying, how does it stay charged up? Well, see, they can use any appliance in your house to target you too. They can target you through appliances.
Okay, yes, and we just got done having some conversation about that, didn't we?
Yeah.
And yeah, that particular appliance is unplugged. If I'm not using this thing unplugged, and I
Yeah, because they were targeting your oven, wasn't they? Targeting you through the oven. That's dangerous. They could start a fire, whatever.
yes, what I seen was when I finally listened to some advice that was given to me about a year ago, I put a camera inside okay, and I turned the lights off, okay, and was recording, and what I seen was orbs, big old orbs coming out of my oven. What the hell? And then I seen this big glob of what looked like orbs trying to form into something. I don't know what, right in front of it. And another problem I had with the oven was the light blinking, okay, and in the fan part, the oven hood, and that was brand new. So I unplugged that now, and I put some EMF blocking back there, and I'm going to be doing some more work back there because that's just about all you can do. It's harder than hell to stop a frequency. There's some things that work, okay. I like to use a stainless steel screen, mesh screen 304. You can purchase it on eBay. Copper roll I use. Those two things seem to help quite a bit.
Yeah, Robert Duncan, I was watching a video last night with him in it, and he states that, yeah, he was stating that he was talking about orbs being seen on camera, and he said they're from direct energy weapons. So there's definitely some correlation with orbs and stuff. And he just they found him dead in his home last week. He just passed away mysteriously, and I think that's a weird situation in itself too.
Right,
Did you huh?
right. I think whatever that pile was out front was actually creating something that could harm somebody really bad, okay? Uh, it's kind of hard to talk about because until I get some more information on just what's going on and what it's
Right.
doing. Uh, but one
Did you
thing,
experience any smear campaigns?
you mean slander campaigns?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yes. Well, the first one, they had me as a pervert, and they were, the main stalker was playing on this guy down on the corner who had been in a mental institution twice, okay? And the main stalker was geeking the guy all up about me being a pervert and shit, you know? And one
Yeah.
time I was out walking the dog, and he pops out in between two trees, and I can't remember anything he said, but he was yelling and screaming. And then the main stalker himself was out front of his house sitting in his truck. And now we're only talking about a little over blocks distance, okay? He revs up his truck and comes speeding down there and swerves like he's going to hit me, you know, and then keeps going. So that was a little ambush setup. I've learned to take my body camera with me when I go out for a walk. And then I had a red SUV swerve like it was going to hit me, and it didn't. I didn't know those people. Well, I do now. That was one of the vehicles from the home where I spotted the V2K antenna on the vehicle.
Right. And I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and let you explain these pictures real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Let me
I
see
got to
here.
get this thing off here. Oops.
You see?
No,
Can you see the picture?
no, I got something blocking me. It says this meeting is being recorded, and then got it or leave meeting. Should I click or got it to
Yeah,
get it
got
off?
it.
Okay, there we go. That picture right there. Yes, that guy, he is FBI. I have him out in the field uh, with the person who actually um, owns that place or occupies it, which is FBI. I have his picture and her picture of both of them out in the field. They appear to be working in the K9 division, and they're in uniform. Okay. Why
And this
FBI?
picture.
That's coming from the same home that they occupy.
And that's some kind of beam or something, right?
Right, that's what I would call a microwave weapon, and when that hits your home, just like in the eye laser, when you have an eye laser surgery, when that laser hits your eye, okay, it releases a small amount of radiation into the eye that takes out clouding and floaters, but it does not put a hole in the eye lens itself, okay? That does the same thing, except for it's pretty powerful right there. When it hits your home, it releases that radiation into the home. Okay. You may feel it and you may not. You may have a moment of being nauseated. You know, that type of thing might happen. But yes, that is FBI that occupies that home. There's no question about it.
I'm trying to see if this will go. And that lady is lives in your neighborhood, don't she?
She's the one that owns the home where that was fired from. Excuse me. And that guy in the back by the tree, he's the one that was in that picture we were just looking at.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can back it up. I can. Okay, let's see now. The this
Right
guy
there.
in the back right here, where the
Nope.
arrow is,
The one on the left, right
right
there.
there.
That's him in that picture. And that picture was the one you showed earlier. Was taken from my backyard. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know I had a trail camera out there that was recording.
And this picture right here is somebody confronting him about electronic harassment, right?
Right, and this is something I like to encourage people to, when you get good video evidence, I mean good video evidence of something that the public can plainly see, you make it public, local, around your town. Um, Paste that video on, city council meetings, chamber of commerce, um, football teams, baseball teams, whatever. Post it as much as you can locally. This was the results I got. These people seen the videos, and I have numerous of them of this man here firing directed energy
And
weapons
that's the
over.
guy standing at the fence right here where this arrow is, right?
Oh yeah, he's a little bewildered. He's getting confronted
Right.
there by these two
About
people.
all the electronic harassment, right?
Right, right.
And like you was talking about earlier, like we were talking about earlier, you got them people in the Facebook groups that post, well, don't get cameras because it's a waste of time. Well, that's perp stuff right there because they don't want you to have, because even though they can hack cameras or whatever, cameras are still a deterrent for perps.
Exactly. And the other thing that works good too, if get the surveillance cameras, and I suggest the 8 channel ones if you can afford it. 8 channels means 8 cameras. The more you got, the merrier. But they're not that expensive to buy. You can get them on eBay. You can probably get the 8 channel one. You can probably get for $160, $170. You know, um, whatever
Okay.
you can afford. You can get a 4 channel one for $130. Oh, that
And
there. Yeah. That was recorded here some time ago. What was the date? Okay, 2019. And that was also recorded by a YouTuber at one of the California fires. I think it was the Paradise Fire. And I've went back so many times and tried to get that YouTuber's video, and they apparently took it down. But the other thing that's going on here is these things here that surround it. Yeah, I can't figure out what the hell's going on there, or exactly what this thing's function is. I don't know, but I know
Right.
that's
Well, that's right over the roof of your house, ain't it?
right. And you don't go down to Walmart and buy that.
No.
So, but I have another video. It's not there. That where I hit a trail camera out by my bedroom window
Yeah.
and captured two drones coming in. But okay, I'll stay. We'll stay on what you got here. The antenna.
And that's actually a weapon you found online, right?
Yes.
And you've seen it on, and you've seen this around on one of the cars, right?
Yes, right here in this is a small community that I live in. There's only about 40 people, 30, 40 people that live in this community. So you pretty much see everything, you know. But yes, that antenna, but in a bigger one, okay, identical but bigger, was spotted many times on a white SUV, belonged to somebody that lived about 3, 4 blocks from here. And I was wondering what the hell it was, and an associate of mine down the road, he same thing. He couldn't figure out what it was, never seen it before. But then this came online, and this came online with some people that were talking about how they were using them in conjunction with V2K.
So
And
this
so,
weapon right here is used in conjunction with V2K, right?
correct.
Right.
They could use that inside their home, or they could use it inside a van, or even put it on top of a van like the one I was talking about. Yeah, those people are operating in this community here.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of videos. I was trying to figure out how to upload them, but it wouldn't let me upload. But he's got a lot of evidence. And he's also on Twitter with some of his evidence too. What's your Twitter name?
Uh, Kenneth, I don't know what the number. There's some numbers that follow. Just type in there Kenneth Grove or Kenneth the Huntsman.
Yeah, Kenneth Grove or Kenneth the Huntsman on Twitter, and he posts a lot of his evidence and videos on there. Like I said, I couldn't figure out how to get the videos to upload them today to share. I would try my best, and it just wouldn't let me do it. So I screen recorded that little slide. Um, so have you ever experienced a honeypot or anybody trying to get close to you, move in, get close to you to further your targeting? I think we've
The
all experienced those.
I experienced this recently, and it just blew my mind. Okay, because the FBI stalkers were using that backside of my fence there. Okay, I have a section back there where 2 foot on the other side of that fence belongs to me. Okay, and because I caught them, okay, I mean literally caught them up to no good out there and messing with my fence. Okay, putting screws in and adding on to my fence, in which I had to call the police because I tried to take down what he was putting up on my fence, and he was telling me he had a right to and all this bullshit. And so, anyways, police came, and the police did make him take it down. And while the police were here, I showed them 2 videos of directed energy being fired onto my home from their guest bedroom window. Now, what was exactly the question you just asked me before I wanted
Have
to
you
know?
experienced honeypots?
Honeypots. Yes, I put a camera up there, right?
Yeah,
Where over that 2 foot of ground of mine that belongs to me, so I could catch them crawling along that fence.
yeah,
Female FBI stalker. She came out. She had a pair of hot shorts on, hot
yeah,
blue jean shorts, and she grabbed. I'm gonna stand up for a minute, David. She grabbed them like this down at the pant legs, and she pulled them up into her crotch on camera. And I was like, what the hell? And I told her, that freaked me out, you know, because it looked like she had, when she did that, it looked like she had nothing but a thong on. Okay.
right.
And anyways, I didn't record it. Okay. I said, I knew this was some kind of trap, you know, like you're talking about.
Right.
Um, That's probably the only incident, and what, you know, what makes me kind of chuckle about this, they work for the frickin' FBI.
Right, because that picture was an FBI agent, and she lives, and you've actually seen her before.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I see her out there. She's, oh man. She actually said to me, this is a comment she said to me one time. I can't remember what we were having a conversation about at that particular time, which she said, nobody loves you here. You know,
Wow.
stalkers will use words like that to psychologically affect you. Even
Yeah.
that guy across the street, he said, nobody likes you here, you know, and they do that kind of thing too.
Yeah,
Just
they
to,
try to mess your self-esteem big time.
right,
Did you lose a lot when you're targeting and started? Did you notice any friends and family shy away from you or stop
everybody,
associating with you just out of the blue?
everybody's gone.
Yeah.
Everybody. They've gotten to them. Even the best friend that I had since, oh my God, elementary school, you know, over 40 years. He, you know, I tried talking to him. You just couldn't talk to him, you know. You couldn't talk to him. No way. You had to have gone crazy. You had to become paranoid, you know, is what he thought. And that's why these videos are so important, okay? Because these videos speak for themselves. And there was a time too, early in my targeting, to where they tried to get me committed. Police did. I was trying to give a complaint, and they told me, we want you to go see a specialist for mental health at the hospital. If they say you're okay, we'll take your complaint, you know. Anyway, so yeah, I land up at the hospital, and they're dressing me up in the gown and everything else. And
Oh, been there.
yeah, and they brought in the head shrink person, and I had some conversation with her. And I the bottom line was, I said, look, I says, nobody has to really even question me. Look at the videos, question them. You tell me what's going on, because there it
Right.
is. And you know, it's not there one, two, three, four times. It's there a shitload of times. You know, at
What'd she
that time,
say to that?
hmm, nothing. I call myself pretty lucky. She wasn't tainted. Okay, I think some of them were tainted to go ahead and play ball
Yeah.
with the bad guys. Okay, so to speak. And she wasn't. And she seen my point. The videos will speak. You know, normal. You record something like this, you're, what the hell is it? You know?
Right.
Okay. Don't
Yeah,
have
I tried to explain to a psychiatrist, there's patents on B2K, and all this, and she wouldn't even look up the patents, and I'm like, well, if you ain't gonna do no investigation, then you can't, you cannot, you don't even qualify to diagnose me because you're not willing to investigate what I'm saying further. You just want to say schizophrenia and go right into that instead of and then looking up patents and what's possible and what technology is capable.
it's good money for them too. One of
Yeah.
the things, that gal, she gave me a clean bill of health, so to speak, but she also said, you can take this. It was some paperwork saying I was okay. She says, you can take this and go back to the police department and file your complaint.
And you did, didn't you?
Yeah. The police department in the beginning, okay, with my stalking and getting hit with the dues, I remembered this date on purpose, okay?
Uh-huh.
That I was going to the police department. It was August 13th, okay, 2016. And that was close to my birthday. That would help me remember that date. But I talked to a deputy in there. Now, this kind of blows my mind, and I got in trouble talking with one of the well-known TIs over this here. I guess it left a bad impression on her where she assumed I was talking about everybody, and I wasn't talking about everybody. She had generalized, okay?
Right.
The deputy I was talking to, and he came off with, how did he do this? Quite a while back. He came off, don't you have a counselor that you could talk to? And I had looked at him, I said, what do you mean? Lawyer? He said, no, a mental health counselor. I said, no. And he goes, what do you mean? He said, I thought everybody that lived in that unit that you lived in, okay, was under mental health care. And I says, no, I says, there's maybe 4 that I know of, but they don't bother nobody, you know. And then he got pissed off and came right out and told me that it was the feds that were targeting me. Okay. But the new reality, even though I knew that from him telling me, he also told me that I should get as far away from Midland, Michigan as I can. So I did that moving thing, and the FBI, okay, just they just tracked her from one location to another, okay? Moving doesn't help at all.
No, I was in 12 states in 6 months in 2018. Everywhere I went, it followed. So the moving is just another setback, money wise and financially wise, and just a setback when you move and try to move.
But here's what I gathered from what that deputy said to me, okay? And with his reference to everybody living in that unit he thought was under mental health care, okay? He gave me the impression that there was conversation between them and the feds that this was going to happen, okay? But that these people were mental patients. So local this is the impression I got. Local enforcement wouldn't interfere. Well, as soon as that officer found out the information he was given wasn't so, he came right out and outed them, probably because he was pissed off because they lied. You follow me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was basically admitting and targeting to you, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He was and this, oh boy, this gets deep. At this particular time, the feds that were in town were Homeland Security feds. Okay. And it took me a year. I'm going to tell you a little story about it at the shopping or at the grocery store, Kroger store. Law enforcement center was right behind the Kroger store. I'm at Kroger's. This is back in the early days. I'm at the Kroger store getting some groceries. I'm leaving and I'm coming out this way, and there's a road that comes this way, the parking lot, it goes out to the main road. A white pickup truck pulls up there at me, and there's this short blonde in there. Now, mind you, I'm 62 years old, I think, at that time. And there's this blonde, she's probably in her late 30s or early 40s, right? And she's giving me the finger like this, And I'm like, what in the fuck? I I don't know her, and she looks ridiculous in that truck because she's so short. Okay. So, anyways, she keeps on driving, giving me the finger, and then instead of going out to the road, she turns like this here because she wants to keep giving me the finger, and she puts it up to the side of her face like this and drives this way past me. And I couldn't figure out who it was. I got a damn good look, but fuck, I'm thinking of some pissed off girlfriend, and the hell I ain't even dated in 4 years,
Yeah.
So what the hell? It was when Donald Trump got into office that I recognized who it was. It was Christian Nielsen, Department of Secretary or Department of Homeland Security. She was in Midland, Michigan at the time. And I'm going, what the? Just
And you're
blew.
sure that was her?
positive, 100%.
Right.
Trump fired it. I think what happened was, like I said, law enforcement office was right behind the grocery store there. Okay, they're in the same parking lot. Okay, and I think she caught hell because I'd made a whole bunch of videos showing showing helicopters flashing into everybody's homes in 3 different neighborhoods, and I put them up there for the public to see on Facebook. You know, I just flashed them right up there, and I
Right.
think she caught some hell from some of the local police officers in there, and she was pissed off. And when she was leaving, lo and behold, who did she run into? And she must have knew me pretty good, had some pretty good darn look at me to identify me like that. But yes, it was her. Another one that was in town at that time, and I can't pronounce it. Like you don't know that guy's position, but it started with an M. Mnuchin. Um, but he was, I don't know what he worked in, but he was in the White House in some position. And I think what they were doing here in Midland at that time, um, there was a big corporate transaction taking place between Dow Chemical and DuPont. Okay, Dow was buying out DuPont at the time,
Oh,
and
okay.
and I think that's part of the reason they were in because that's huge. Midland, Michigan is the headquarters of Dow Chemical. Midland, Michigan is where Dow Chemical originated from. Okay, a lot of people think it was Texas and that. No, Dow's history is in Midland, Michigan. That is where it started. Just a little.
Right. Do you what was life like before you were targeted compared to what it's like now?
Yeah, you.
You know, like for example, like what I would answer that question, I'd be like, well, I used to be the life of the party, a hard worker, and all that. Now I'm agoraphobic. It's ruined my life. I'm isolated, and I can't hold a job. I can't do none of that because of gang stalking and all. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But before I was the life of the party. I got out all the time. People like very likable person stuff. Now, uh, due to smear campaigns and stuff like that, and
I'll,
all
I'll,
the
I'll
gang
say
stalking,
I'll say to you.
I'm a loner now, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, I'll say to you what the apartment manager said to me. You know, because the other thing that came along with the gang stalking in the early days was complaints. Okay, and they were coming from out of nowhere, and they were absolutely ridiculous complaints. Okay, and of course, all of them were found unfounded. You know, but the apartment manager said to me, she says, I can't understand it either. You've been here for years and we've never had one complaint. Now all kinds of complaints are coming in. Okay. That's part of the stalking that was going on.
So that's what they started making false complaints on you too. So you went through that too. Did you go through
Yeah.
noise campaigns and street theater?
I went through that here and there. Okay. There they were hitting the entire complex. Okay. It was a low income apartment complex. There was this tan car come in and it would play a bass that would just rattle the windows and nobody would do nothing about it, you know. And they had the same type of bass campaign going on here too, okay? Um, which doesn't affect me at all, you know. I think one reason they kept doing it is because I said to somebody, what the hell is all that bass about? I was trying to figure out if it was some kind of new music or something, you know.
Right.
But where the home I'm in, I own a mobile home and I own the land it sits on, okay. But my home's all been re-insulated inside and got new windows in it and stuff like that. So I don't hear that bass sound like they think I'm hearing it, okay? So I just let them continue with it, you know. But they did cause the family on the other side of the FBI home. They did cause, they were a couple of retirees, really super nice people. they said they had had enough and they sold their home and got out. You know, they didn't want nothing more to do with this.
Right.
So they were
Did,
just an innocent.
did you notice when your targeting started, new people moved in all around you?
Um, I've seen new people come in and it doesn't take long to, at least it doesn't here, for me to catch on to who they are. One of the things here that's a dead giveaway is their prejudice. Okay, there's a lot of prejudice here. I mean, you if you were to go out for a drink, you might have somebody holler over to you and say something. No, I'm going to use the N word because that's the word they use. Okay, I don't mean to offend anybody.
Yeah. Well, don't say it on the screen because YouTube won't let me say it. Won't let me say it. But we already know what you're going to say. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
And the same thing for Mexicans.
yeah. So they call you names and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. The one across the street, okay, he's an older guy like me. He might be a couple of years older than me. Uh, but yeah, he's called me the N word. He's asshole and numerous times of language. And, you know, it doesn't have nothing to do with me being afraid of him or anything like that. Because I get a lot of people, you ought to kick his ass, you know, do this and that. And sure, I could.
That's what
Nope.
that's what they
Nope.
want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. I've seen the people he's connected with, and they're InfoGuard, the feds, you know, they're other stalkers. You know, I know what's going on. I've seen his cameras, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
they want you to snap or commit suicide.
right, right.
Are you still getting hit pretty heavy every night with direct energy weapons?
From underneath. But like I said, the exposure here is pretty much shutting them down from firing the weapons from their homes.
Right.
Okay. But they got that weapon underneath, okay, which is powerful, okay. Have you ever seen a porcelain tile, a 12 by 12 porcelain tile,
Mm, I,
floor tile? It weighs a couple pounds, okay.
right.
Marble, I mean marble.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like a slab,
Yeah,
12 by
okay.
12 slab. Yeah.
Well, 12 by 12. I put that under my head one night to go to sleep on, prevent from getting hit. And it actually lifted that. The impact of that hit after, and my head was on top of it. Okay, it actually lifted about 6, 7 inches. That's how hard it was firing, and it's fired in here hard enough too to shake my shelter. I got an EMF shelter, and it's made of some pretty heavy material. Okay, and it shook my whole bedroom. They fired in so goddamn hard. Okay. And at that time, I was doing exposure, and they were trying to pretty much just take me out, you know, is what I believe.
Wow. So how would you say you cope with all this?
Well, that's a good question. It's a one day at a time thing. It's always moving toward protecting myself and always trying to look out for my psychological being to doing something. I mean, doing something good for myself, you know, keep my spirits up, you know, make sure I take some time out, maybe just listen to some music, watch a movie, you know, or um, go out and spoil myself maybe at the store, get me something special, you know, little things like that there to try and keep my spirit up a little bit, you know.
Right, I agree. It's a one day at a time. But
Yeah.
yeah, because every day is different as a TI, so it's good to try to stay positive. I like doing gratitude lists, stuff like that.
Here's another thing, David. Okay, one day at a time is something I got from a self-help program I was involved with for over 30 years. And that's where my first gang stalking event took place. was at a meeting, okay? And I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. You know, I'd been going there for 30, a little bit over 30 years, okay? In a gang stalking. What they gave me was basically Amish shunning, okay, you might call it. All right.
Wow.
And the thing about it was the guy that was leading that up was a young Mason.
Wow. Imagine that.
Yeah. What they were trying to do back then, okay, like that was early in my targeting and what was going on. They wanted to this, remove me from anything good that I was doing in the public, okay? And uh, like one of the things that, you know, I was one of the forerunners, I guess you could say, me and this other guy that worked at Dow Chemical were the forerunners for starting up a rehab center in Midland, Michigan. We went to city council and got their approval and got them working on funding for it and all that stuff. And they wanted all that type of stuff erased from my life. And they just wanted people to see what they wanted to present. You follow me? They
Do you
want,
think that's why you were targeted? Is because you were fixing to start a rehab center and they wanted to shut it down?
no, we started a rehab center back,
Oh,
and it's still going today. It's pretty big today. It's a huge rehab centers for drugs, drug abuse and alcohol abuse.
do you sit on the board?
No, no, I worked there after they got the funding to open it up. I worked there doing um remodeling, fixing the place up and stuff like that. And then when
Yeah.
it opened up, I went to work there as what they called an RA, uh, residential advisor. Okay,
Okay.
glorified title for babysitter. You know? But
Yeah.
I worked there for a few years, and they had a really good, you know, I'd still highly recommend them as far as the treatment center, even though at the business end, I've seen some pretty shitty things happen. But if I put all that aside, uh, they do have a good treatment center, and they've helped a lot of people.
Do you have any idea why you were targeted?
And, it you know, there might be a number of reasons. I can't really put a finger on. I do know at the time I was recording some things that had something to do with cell towers. Okay, and
Yeah.
I was showing how the tops of the trees, okay, from the cell tower going straight to the apartment complex were all dead. You know, for
Wow.
about 3 blocks long, and you know, I'd taken notice on how the trees around the particular unit I was living in were all dead and dying off, and some of them were pulled out. They were hitting that place with a lot of radiation. As a
Wow.
matter of fact, this is a subject that TIs, some are not familiar with at all, and it's called, I call it population microwave. There's a lot of people in the public that are getting hit with it. And I recorded first on it in 2016, but I think Facebook might have been shadow banning the videos. Okay. They were using helicopters back then. Okay. Today they use drones. And I just recently got a video of that happening down the street here, uh, where the
Yeah.
drone
A lot of
flying.
people's getting hit with radiation, don't even realize it. It's so popular and they'll never know it. They just think they're sick and stuff like that, like natural causes. And the whole time it's really a population radiation like you're talking about.
Yeah, look at it like this. You go in and you get an x-ray. You don't feel a damn thing. Okay. But if they microwave like they were doing in Midland, Michigan, they were microwaving neighborhoods, like for 30 days straight, you know. And the effect, that's actually a military tactic that was used in Vietnam. They would microwave the population over there. Okay, and this is where you come up with the zombie thing. Okay, you don't look like you don't. The people don't come out like a zombie you see in the movies or nothing like that. But what it does to the mind is they will not respond to things that one would find to be alarming. Okay, they just wouldn't respond to it in the normal sense like a normal person would. You know, you follow me?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what microwaving the population does. It you just don't respond to alarming things like you should. There you got your zombie.
Yeah. And then also the radiation's killing them too and making them sick
Well, microwaving,
eventually.
yeah, microwaving is radiation.
Yep. I got two more questions for you and then
Sure.
we'll end it. I really appreciate your time, by the way. Let me see. Would be your advice to new targeted individuals?
I
If
guess
like if there's new target individuals watching this.
forget moving. It's not going to help you. You are caught up in human trafficking in the sense that feds are going to track you to your next location and it's going to start up again. I guess the next thing I would say, get with people, other TIs, and this is really important. It took me years to get one single bit of information, even from other TIs, what I could use to protect myself with. Okay. It doesn't seem to get shared enough. Okay. Um, for the newer TI, I would want to start investing in EMF protective materials. Um, and talk to other TIs, get an understanding of what's going on. Well, that's a tough one because I got go back to when I first. I'll tell you what, and this one hurts me. In 2015, there was 5 teenagers in Midland, Michigan, and they came up to me and they just started having some casual conversation, and then they introduced themselves as TIs. And I didn't know nothing about TIs. And I turned around and I said, well, what's that? And they looked a little frustrated and they said, never mind. And they just walked off. And the other thing that rings a bell up here about that situation is that was back at a time when they were having all these high school shootings. And it just made me think, were they targeting these shooters in these high school shootings? Were the feds actually pitting these students against one another through gang stalking? It very well could have been going on. We may never know, but I can't see any reason why they'd want to stalk teenagers, why they'd want to target them. There
Well,
you
this is
have.
I think the Trump shooter was a Manchurian candidate. If you look at the thing, 2 years ago, he was in a BlackRock commercial. Uh, and what's the odds of this BlackRock commercial contain two students, and you got out of all the schools that BlackRock decided to do a commercial in, is that school with that shooter, and he's in the commercial.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Nothing's going to shock me today. I mean, we've pretty much seen a lot, but it's something, the tables don't turn soon. I think we're probably going to see, I think the country's probably going to fall into a civil war like they've been talking about. And some of it may be already happening and it may be referred to as a silent type war, with these directed energy weapons and stuff, and people being taken out. But Trump, them trying to
Do you,
assassinate Trump.
do you use these, Kenneth? Have you ever seen one of these? Do you use these?
Is that copper?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I
yeah.
do.
Deb K makes them and sent me
Uh,
these.
well, this gets into another subject. I had surgery, okay, where they had to open up esophagus,
Yeah.
and I did the testing just for implants down around that area. And holy smokes, the pile megaphone went off like crazy. I got my frequency tester out and tested. It went off like crazy. So as I sit here talking to you, copper is right here inside. And here's what I found. I've been doing this for about 2 weeks. Now, if I take this off, I don't get the frequency signal anymore. I don't know what kind of magic is taking place or if any's taking place, but it's gone. Uh,
Yeah, copper's supposed to absorb electromagnetic radiation.
right. And even around here, anybody can do this. That's something you can use from some copper wire you may have around the home or something. That's what this is right here. It's nothing but a piece of copper wire. Okay, it goes around here. Okay. And
Uh-huh.
then here's a store-bought one, from eBay, $6, But yeah, you can find some of the copper materials like this around your home. I do a lot because I'm one of these people. I'm always tinkering with this and that, working on this electronic or this electrical device, or upgrading my electrical here. I just put in a new electrical upgrade here where I'm at. So yeah, I have all that kind of stuff laying around, which it
All right.
comes
The
in.
last question is, do you see this program ending or getting worse?
That's really a tough one, and I think the answer is going to lie within the TIs. Okay, getting out more right now. Yes, they've been exposed in Washington. Washington, there's an investigation going on gang stalking and targeting. State of Michigan has one that's going on. It's being led up by Senator Gary Peters. Okay, so yeah, the pressure is on, and lawmakers are aware, but it's up to TIs to get that exposure out there for other people. I had to actually stray away from a lot of the TIs and go get more to public people, okay, to
Right.
make aware. And you've seen the people that came to the front door or the front yard of the stalker's home, okay. And there's other videos where a mother came up there and confronted him too, okay. And I couldn't do that if I was just sharing that with TIs. I had to get to the public, and that means I had to put myself right out there. Okay, my name is out there, the good, the bad, the uglies, all along with it. The targeting, it's all recorded. Who's firing them? Their address, their name, their house. That's all right there, and the public gets to see that. And it doesn't matter what they might or might not think of me. They see that and they know that's wrong, and people shouldn't be doing that shit.
Right. Because don't you post your evidence in community forums and all that too, don't you?
Absolutely, and that's the place to go. I don't understand. There's some TIs keep sending me stuff that you know this is old stuff to me. This is old school. It's the public that needs to know, and what the public
Right. Don't send it to me. Post it in public. Expose it.
Right. What the public wants is good videos, okay? And by just being a blessing here that I stumbled into the right cameras, okay? It was nothing they came from up here, you know, I just happened to get the right cameras, okay? And had the right attitude, and that was, well, you put cameras on me, I'm gonna put them right back on you. Now some may call me extreme because I've got, 15 cameras running, okay? But when you see the cameras they got on you, okay, it equals to about the same number, okay?
Right.
And how they're able to move and operate outside the camera parameters, okay? Then you understand why there's so many cameras and
Yeah,
why you,
because they know where the cameras are.
oh
I was
yes,
telling Kenneth a minute ago that somebody came and knocked on the door or window at 12 at night, and they knew exactly where to go where the cameras wouldn't get them. So they know right where, like he said, they can articulate around the cameras, but it's very difficult when you got a lot of them. And if
yes,
anybody in a group saying don't get cameras, there's no use in it, then I would be watching out for that person, right, Kenneth?
right. And here's another thing you just woke my mind up to, and I figured this out. Everybody records the drones sitting out at nighttime up above their homes or within their block and that. And I got to thinking one day what them damn drones have got to be giving coordinates to those stalkers on the ground. Okay, like when it's safe to move, safe to go here, this spot, that spot, you know, because other than that, it doesn't make any sense for them to to be out there. You know what I mean? Uh,
Right.
None at all. Just sitting there in the sky, a block above your house. I mean, they would be bored shitless if they were um, doing surveillance on me. I mean, police have been in this house. They've had their body comms on. They've seen the shelter that I've had, EMF shelter. They know what's going on. They've seen the recordings of the directed energy weapons being fired from these people. They've seen the stalker. They've seen all those videos. Okay, and what they're the way they're playing it right now. Okay, you got to look at the blue line that they don't want to cross. Okay. They try to keep things balanced out. If they go and arrest somebody for firing those weapons, they've crossed that blue line, is what I'm thinking. Okay. They've crossed the blue line. And they're into messing with the feds, and the feds outrank them. Um, Totally. It's kind of like that sheriff deputy told me down there in Midland. I didn't get to say that, when we were having that conversation. But he told me feds outrank them. There's nothing they can do. I would counter back today with that. If the Fed, an FBI agent, by law, if they are committing a crime within the sheriff's jurisdiction, the sheriff can arrest them. They can arrest the FBI.
Right. And Michigan's got laws against electronic harassment, but at the end of the day, how do you can't, it's still hard to prove that law that is being done on you. You know what I'm saying? And even if you do prove it, your police don't want to acknowledge it. They want to say, well, we need to get you a mental evaluation first, and then we might listen to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
And
there are electronic harassment laws in Michigan. I don't know if you know about them or not. Uh, but there is a law in Michigan against no electronic harassment.
yes, I've seen some, and there's some pretty strict
But how do
stalking.
you prove it?
Yeah. Well, with the stalking thing, down in Detroit, they actually have a law firm set up that will defend anybody who's arrested for gang stalking.
Really?
Yeah, I ran into that. I ran into it on accident. I was looking to get an attorney for stalking, and they only defend the
Stalkers.
the stalkers.
Oh, that's
What
backwards.
the hell? I put it together. There's a lot going on down there in Detroit with a lot of people getting targeted down there. Most of it's a racial thing. It is up here too. And a lot of this gets us back to, they're absolutely following right out of the classic playbook of Adolf Hitler, human experiments, gang stalking. Uh, Hitler had the Jews. Here in this country, they're going after the targeting mainly black people, a lot of them, uh, Hispanic people, and a shitload of white people too,
Yeah.
for political political reasons. Um, there's probably a list this long of different things that you could make you a target.
Yeah. Revenge, disability. If you
Yeah,
get disabled, you're
disability.
just like, because Hitler back in the day, people think he just went after Jews. No, he went after, if you had a mental disorder, you were dead. If you were crippled in any way, you were dead. If you were born unnatural in any way, you were dead. I mean, he didn't go after just Jews. He went after all the what you would call dissidents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they
Kenneth, I
I'll
thank
say
you for coming out. You got anything else you want to say?
I just could comment on what we got to talk about. They don't have no reasoning power as far as I'm concerned. You cannot reason with these stalkers. Forget it. you know, expose them's about the best you're gonna do, and it seems to have been a big help here. I'll let you have the mic.
Do you have anything else you want to say to anybody, any of the targeted community that's watching before I
Uh,
end it?
no, not other than TIs need to get the surveillance cameras. They're going to be a very effective tool in exposing them, and they need to get their exposure to the public, not so much to me or Dave. We've seen pretty much quite a bit of it. It's the public that needs educated, okay? And they need to see this thing happening in the communities where they live. I'm sure there's a lot of people here that are pretty upset, probably pretty nervous. Some are probably scared. Some are probably doing some work and getting it shut down. I have seen some things that lead me to think that is happening here, but not off the top of my head, Dave.
Okay. Well, hey, I really appreciate you coming out. I'm going to stop the recording right now.